Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. There we go. Excited to be here with everybody again today for another live stream. As you guys saw, the topic we're talking about today is going to be grouped shirts. So, multiple designs on one listing. We'll probably also there's a couple different ways that we can cover it. So, we're going to walk through, take a look at a few examples that are already available and selling on Etsy to kind of get a little bit of inspiration from, talk through a couple of different options that you have to be able to create those. And then we'll jump into Anywhere POD and create uh, a sample listing for everybody with a few different design options. So excited to be here. We're going to pull that up and we're just going to go ahead and get started taking a look at what we have here. Okay. So let me pull up my screen share here and we will get started. Let's see over here. Okay, so this is just a search I was doing in Etsy, looking at a few kind of similar design layouts like we are going to create today. And we're going to pull up a few of these to take a look at. So the first one here is this most likely to cruise shirt is what they call it. You can see on these, there's multiple different design options to choose from. And on this one, they also have the option for um, multiple different styles of products. So you can do a unisex shirt, a V-neck youth shirt, toddler shirt, or baby bodysuit. And then, of course, your color selection here as well. These guys didn't get too carried away with the color selection, but there's still quite a few here. I would probably look at trimming this just a little bit. And then the actual design selection, they are doing down here in the personalization section. So they're going to have their design listed out here. So they have them all numbered, which is a good thing to do if you're going to do it this way. Where in the personalization field now, all they need to do is enter the number of the corresponding design that's listed in their mockup templates here. So the way we would do this in Anywhere POD is the example we'll walk through in a few minutes is going to be creating variants for your different shirt options, and then using the clip art for the actual artwork piece for what's going to swap out there, since they're not using that in the design or in on the variants. Depending on the color selection, so if you have something like this that you ever wanted to do that doesn't have multiple different colors, meaning where they can select different colors of the shirt, you could use the color selection here. You could change that variant field to actually be your design name. But if you want to offer multiple different product types, multiple different colors, and multiple different artworks, you're probably going to be using the variant selection like we have here. So we have another selection here. This is one, again, another cruise shirt style design. Now on this one, they really have a lot of options. So you can see here they have 125 different design options that you can select from. That's getting to be quite a bit for the customer. Whenever you're designing products like this, you need to keep in mind the paradox of choice is what they call it. If you haven't read about it before, I suggest Googling it and taking a look at it. They have done studies that basically the more options you give your customer, the more likely they are to, not complete the purchase. So not only do they have from, multiple different product types here that you can select from, they have a huge list of colors, and then they have 125 different designs that you can pick from. So the number of color and design options that they have here can really start to get to be overwhelming for a customer, and a lot of times that leads to a lower conversion rate. So I would not recommend probably going quite as extensive as they have here, but with Anywhere POD, you can still be able to add quite a few options and keep things fairly simple for the customer. So let's see here. I wanted to try to find one other style here. Let me see if we can find one that is um, similar here or not. Let's see here. See if this one does it. So here's another one. Again, they're doing the style. I have seen several before that instead of having a color choice here, they're doing like I described and just doing one color with multiple different artwork options. If you do decide to set it up that way, it does make the order process 100% automated for you, especially on a design like this where it is not personalized. So you would be able to select right from the drop down here your actual saying, and then it's non-customized, can be 100% completely automated. If you do the clip art version where you're having them put in the design number, or enter in this case, they have some custom text that you can utilize. If you're doing that, you are going to want to review each order to make sure that what the customer is asking is what's actually going to go on the shirt. We do make it as easy as possible to be able to adjust that customization or add in your own text. That can be done very easily with Anywhere POD, but you will need to review that order. It's not going to be just 100% automated where you can set it and kind of forget it. So that is a few examples of what we're going to kind of be looking at here to create today. So let me pull up Anywhere POD here, and we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go the route because I think that's probably what most people want to do of uh, adding the design as clip art, so you can have those multiple different color options. So what I'm going to do here is come over to my clip art section here. So I'm going to go to my artwork and then to clip art. And then here at the top, we're going to say add new clip art. And here we're going to name it. So we're just going to say, let me double check here. So these are going to be Christmas designs, let's call it. And I'm going to go to choose files. And from here, we'll be able to select all of the images that we want. And it is a bulk upload. So you can upload all of these at once. You can see here we're going to be doing more of a Christmas themed design, where they can select whether it was brother, dad, dog, mom, sister. So it's Dear Santa, it was my sister's fault, for example. So our names are already preset up here based on the file name. I'm going to go ahead and make these capitalized so they all match here. Not a big deal if you're selling on Etsy because the customer won't actually see the name that is there. But if you are on Shopify, they will see that name. So you want to make sure that name is something that makes sense. So we have all of those set. So we'll just click on save for that. And that has that added to my clip art now. Let's see right here, Christmas designs. So we have that added in. So now what I want to do is we're just gonna start creating our products. So I'm gonna start with a t-shirt. So we're gonna come in here to the product catalog and go to t-shirts. Again, this can be with any supplier, any print provider that you want to use. You can use for this, and it can even mix and match if you need to. So if you have the say onesie that you want to offer from somewhere that's different than the t-shirt, you can do that. Just keep in mind that if they order more than one product, then they could potentially get two shipments to them, right? So if you have the t-shirt from one supplier and a onesie from another supplier, and somebody orders both of those, then they're going to end up getting both products sent to them. So, which is one of the nice things with these types of designs. Most of the time, you're going to end up getting multi-item orders, which is the really nice thing with these type of designs. Instead of just getting the onesies and twosies, you're going to have a group listing for a cruise. Could be a whole family, could be a whole group. So 5, 10, 15 items can easily be on an order. Same with family reunions or like Christmas designs, like we're doing now. This would be something that they would get for the entire family. So we're going to come in here and select our Printify supplier. In this case, we'll go with Swift POD here at the top. We'll go to Start Designing. Now here, we don't really need to do anything on this screen because our design is going to be pretty much completely coming from the clip art here. So we're going to go to our clip art and scroll down here to our Christmas designs. And we're going to resize this so it fills the entire design area. Again, you can design and lay this out however you want. Now, I would recommend making sure to pay attention to what colors you select and what colors you're going to select for the different styles of product. It will make the drop-down selection a lot simpler on Etsy and Shopify if your colors match between the different products. So if you're doing t-shirt and hoodies, try to select products that the design or that the colors are available on both products for. So let's select a few here. So sand is a common one, sport gray, white, and then let's also do light blue and light pink. I may mess this up. I'm not writing down these colors, so I would try to remember those colors though and make sure you're selecting the same ones. So we got our light pink, light blue, sand, sport gray, and white. Okay, so we have that set. There's not really any additional changes that we need to make here at all to begin with. So we're just going to go to create product. So this, like normal, is going to generate our artwork. It's going to generate any of the mockups that are available from Printify for this product as well. But the main change that we need to do each time we upload one of these is we want to rename our variant fields here so that they are selecting not only the size, but they're also going to be selecting the style as well, right? So in this case, what we want to do is rename this so it is, let's say, style dash size. So that is the label that will show up on the listing in Etsy next to that drop down field. So we'll hit style dash size and hit save. And now we want to come up here to update variant names. Now this is the first one that we're doing, right? So we want to, in this case, we want to update all of the variants that are currently available on this product. There's not really any that we want to exclude because we haven't started to add any other design options or anything like that to it yet. So we don't need to worry about making any selections up here at the top. We just want to select all of them. So what we want to do is add to front. And in this case, we just want to put, we'll say unisex t-shirt, for example. So now this will change this instead of just being small, medium, large, etc. It's going to say unisex t-shirt, small, unisex t-shirt, medium, because I have this set to add to front. So it's going to add whatever I put in this box. It's going to add to the front of my style size field. Okay, so we'll hit update. And it's going to go through and update all of those in bulk for me. So all of those are now updated. So now we'll add in the other styles that we want. So we could do sweatshirt, V-neck, women's shirt, any of that type of stuff that we want to. For Etsy, it is not likely that we are going to hit any kind of limit on the number of variants because they don't really have the same limits that Shopify has. So currently with Shopify, they limit you to a total of 100 total variants. With Etsy, they don't have a direct limit on the number of total variants that you have. But with Etsy, for example, you can have up to 70 different it's actually based on variant values, right? So like this size field, I can have 70 unique entries here. So in this case, this is just one, and then for every size, so it's going to be what, like 6 or 7 here? How many sizes do we have? 8. So that one's 8. So, and we have up to 70. So if each product we have has 8 different sizes, that means I could add something like 8 or 9 different products to this, and I'm still going to be under Etsy's limit. So that is why very rarely do you ever run into any kind of limit with Etsy, because it is so much higher than anything else that very rarely do you actually run into hitting that. Okay, so now that we have that added, you can see here I forgot to put in a spacer. I would usually put in like a dash here or something like that. So let me go ahead and fix that here too. So if I come back into update variant names, you'll see here under the note, we do have the ability here to put in our size field wherever we want. So I can't just add to the front anymore because my field now says unisex t-shirt already in it. So I need to replace this, and I want this to be unisex t-shirt slash, and then we'll put in the size like that. So the size is going to get replaced with whatever the original size value was. In this case, small, medium, large, etc. So we'll hit update, and that will update all of those now. So it looks a little bit better and doesn't have that smushed together. Okay, so now let's go through and add our sweatshirt to this. So to do that, we're going to use our add variants functionality here. So I'm going to go add variants. Now, this is going to take me first to essentially the last category or the main category for that product. So in this case, I'm still here in men's clothing, t-shirts. But once I click on add variants and I see this here at the top that says selecting additional variants, I can actually browse the entire catalog and select any product from the entire catalog that I want to add to this product. So in this case, we're going to go to sweatshirts, and we'll just do the Gildan 18,000 here. And I'm going to stick with the same supplier. Um, this is another good time to mention that with Etsy, when you do these and you're combining multiple products, Etsy only has the ability to add one shipping profile to your listing, right? So Etsy is going to charge the same amount of shipping no matter what product is purchased, whether it's a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or whatever the case is. So what I recommend doing is either just charge free shipping and build your entire shipping price into the base cost of the product, or charge like a flat rate shipping, keep it under that $6 so you can charge $5.99 for shipping. That way it doesn't affect your search visibility, and you can build the rest of the shipping charge into the main cost of the sweatshirt. Also keep an eye out for the second item charge. For group listings like this and the way Printify works, even though we're having two products that are shipping from Swift POD, if it's a t-shirt and a sweatshirt, those are two different product types. So Printify is going to charge me full cost shipping on both of those items. If you use other suppliers, not every supplier is set up that way. So if you use like a custom cat or a reliable POD, they will do combined shipping for you, and you can save a lot on your shipping costs there. So that's just something to keep in mind that you want to make sure is worked into your pricing to make sure that you do get a group order, that you're not kind of upside down on that order. That's an important thing to kind of watch out for. Okay, so we're here on our sweatshirt. So I'm going to go to start designing. And so we don't really have any additional configuration that we're doing on these. I could go add from library. Since the only thing that I'm doing is adding in that one clip art field, I'm just going to come down here and add it the normal way. We'll go to Christmas designs, and I will expand that here. And then here, let's see if I can remember white, sport gray. Who's keeping track? Light blue. I had a light pink. I cheated and opened it in a new tab so I can check and see what I have here. Uh, White, light pink. Ah, sand. See, I knew there was going to be one that I missed. Sand. Okay, so we have those all added now. So we should be set there. So we're going to go to update product. Now, when we come down to our variant section here, you can see we have these set here that we now need to rename for our sweatshirt. So to do that, we're going to come to our update variant names. And you can see here at the top, we have products listed. So we're just going to select our sweatshirt here. We could also instead just select the sizes that we want to update here. But I know that this sweatshirt's going to cover all of those, so we should be good there. So under update style here is going to be sweatshirt. And what am I doing here? I'm doing slashes. So we'll say sweatshirt with a slash and update. And now that is going to have all of those renamed in bulk for us and all set up there, ready to go. So that has our unisex t-shirt. And then also down here, we'll have our sweatshirt, both all added correctly for us. If I scroll to the top here, a couple of tips. One thing that we can do here is under show hide columns, we can turn on our artwork field. In this case, they all essentially have the same artwork, so that's not really going to help anything. But if we were ever doing artwork variations where we have different artwork added for different variants, we can turn on that field and easily be able to tell if we actually have everything set up correctly. We can also up here turn on our product field, and that will help make sure, okay, I got that set up right with my unisex. And then down here, you'll see sweatshirt is set up with our sweatshirt. So it just kind of gives you a quick way that you can double check and make sure that your settings are all correct. Especially if you are doing a product that only has a few variations to it, you're doing artwork variations, and you're manually renaming them all to make sure that you didn't mess one up. You can always come here and use that to kind of double check. Okay, so now that we have that, let's see what's next. That was our sweatshirt. Let's see if there's maybe women's V-neck. So we'll go back here to add variants. And again, we can browse our whole catalog here. So let's go to, I think that's going to be under women's t-shirts, maybe. Let's see. I think their t-shirts include V-necks, and let's look at Printify only in this case. Uh, I thought they were probably under the same. Here we go. Here's V-neck, Bella Canvas 3005. So we'll go ahead and use that one. So we'll say view suppliers. Now this might be one I don't have the same colors on. So it looks like we do not. Um, this is not as important if you're selling on Etsy as it is if you're selling on Shopify, because the way the variants work in Etsy is once if I select women's V-neck, the only sizes then in the next drop down, or the only colors in the next drop down that I'm going to see are the colors that are available. If I'm on Shopify and I select women's V-neck, I'm still going to see the colors that are available for the other product, but they're just going to have like a line through it. That is theme dependent. So that's not in every case, but on Dawn and most themes, that's the way it's going to work. So again, depending on where you're selling, I would maybe change a little bit of my strategy here on how I want to set that up. But we'll just walk through this one here. So again, Swift POD, we'll go to start designing. And I'm going to add my clip art option here and scroll down to my Christmas designs. And again, we'll resize that so it fills the whole area. And then let's see, we need some lighter colored designs. So we'll do those three here. Now, I didn't mention this before. You can actually change the design that's shown here. So if you want some of your mockups to show a different design, you can change the clip art option that you have selected here. And then when it generates those mockups, those will be available for those other designs. So we'll update product. And now we'll see down here, again, we need to rename those variants. We'll go to update variant names. In this case, we're doing our V-neck and we want to add to front. So we'll say women's V-neck with the slash so it matches the other ones and update. And again, that's going to update all of those in bulk for us. So they are all set. So now the customer is going to have a choice between the t-shirt, the sweatshirt, the women's v-neck. If we wanted to add other ones in here, if we wanted to do a hoodie or do toddler shirts, or we saw the one that had the kind of baby onesie bodysuit type product, any of those, you can add any of those products to this that you wanted to. They're all going to be available. Now, when you receive an order, remember you're going to need to put in your personalization instructions on Etsy to enter in the design that they want. I would set up like some of the ones that we saw. Let me see if I can pull up another one of those here. I would make sure to set up a uh, kind of infographic like this that has your designs numbered so that all the customer needs to do in that personalization field on Etsy is put in that design number. And then when that order comes in, you just need to make sure that design number matches the artwork that's set on that order, and you'll be able to process it through. If you were doing something like this, either that's not on apparel or is maybe on apparel, but you're only wanting to offer one color, you would do that same design variation like I showed, except instead of using clip art, you're just going to go through that add variants option for each design and then rename your variants for those designs then as well. So that would be the way to handle it. Again, depending on what colors or options you want to add to it. Um, okay, I think that covers the full kind of tutorial I wanted to show on being able to do design variations. So let me know what questions do you guys have. Happy to stick around and answer any questions you guys might have. Doesn't have to be about the topic we're talking about today. Anything to do with Etsy, Shopify, Anywhere POD. Happy to help answer any questions or clarify any questions you guys might have. Let's see, Elizabeth, what amazing. I'm not sure to what part that was, but I'm glad that we showed some stuff that was beneficial to you. I totally didn't know about the hide show fields, learn something new every day. Yes, that makes a big difference when you're doing this kind of add variant stuff. Especially as you're starting to add, if you're doing design variations and you're adding more and more designs, you can kind of get in a kind of zombie effect where you're adding and changing names and adding and changing names, and you're like, oh shoot, did I catch that one or not? So it's just a good way you can kind of turn on these fields to be able to double check. If this gets longer and you can't see everything you want, you can actually turn off these other fields too. So then I'm just left with my artwork and my variant fields, and it makes it really easy to look and double check. Also using this expand table, as this list gets longer, you can see here we're just kind of scrolling in a small area here. If you click on this expand table button, it's going to expand it all the way down. It kind of makes it easier if you are looking at a whole bunch of them. Makes it easier to be able to take a look at those and make sure that everything is correct there. If you do get this here where it is seems like it's blank. Normally, that's because it's still loading, so it's doing essentially what we call lazy load. So it's not loading the image until you scroll down to it. So sometimes it can just take a minute for those to load there for you. Okay, let's see what questions we have here. Her amazing comment was on updating the variants. Yes, if you have lots of them, that can be a huge help. If you're doing something that doesn't have very many variants, like if you're doing a platter or an acrylic, where you've only got a couple of variants anyway, just manually renaming them isn't any big deal. But um, when you have a lot, like especially on apparel, being able to update them in bulk like that is a huge benefit. Canva has just updated. You can now different sizes on one document. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I haven't taken a look at that yet, but that is cool that you can do that. This way you did it. How do you select on the fulfilling side which artwork the customer selected? You did most using the brother and one with the mom. So those were just like as an example, right? So what I'm selecting here is just what's going to kind of show up on my mockup. These are all of the options the customer will have a choice from, right? So if you're on Shopify, they will actually be able to select the exact one that they want and it'll, pull through and come in correctly. If you are on Etsy, that order will come in and be on hold. And when you click on edit personalization, you'll have the same drop down and you can make sure that the correct one is selected that the customer chose. Um, I'm used to creating with drop down, mom or brother, etc. Did not know to do it this way. So this is just an optional way to do it. That is the way you're describing would be, I think, making one of these fields actually be the design, where here they're selecting dad, mom, etc. The problem with doing that here is that is a lot of options. I mean, I probably could have combined that in the color, so they would be selecting, you know, brother, athletic Heather, etc. But I guess would be a lot of choices for the customer. So that's why on this apparel I did it that way. But if I was doing, say, I was doing this design or something similar to this on a coffee mug, that's one that I would just add my brother, mom, dog. I would add all those options as variants here because the customer is going to be able to actively select that from a drop down and everything's going to be 100% automated from there. Is there training on bulk uploads? I imagine there is, but looking to see how to bulk upload with the new Canva integration. Say I made a collection of mugs. Can those be bulk uploaded? Yes, so you can do that. The right now the bulk upload isn't directly integrated with like the Canva integration, right? So if you have in Canva, um, actually here I can probably that doesn't have many on. I was trying to think if I had an example I could pull up real quick. So if you have a separate page in Canva for each of those designs, you can download all of those designs as a PNG at once from Canva, and it'll download all those into a single zip file. And then you would take one of those designs and create your first product, and then you would come here to take that, create any title or description that you want to carry over to each product. Same with your tags and pricing, you can kind of have all that pre-configured and set up. And then when you come in here to bulk upload, you can upload all the other designs. So say you've got one design with 20 pages, right? And you want to bulk upload those. So you would download all 20 pages. You would take the first one, create a product like normal with it, set up any of your pricing or any of those settings that you want to carry over to every single product. And then you'd come here to the bulk upload, upload all 19 files at once, and when you hit submit, it's just going to go through and create. It's going to duplicate that product 19 times. So it's going to keep the title, description, tags, all that how you want it. You can change the title here while you're uploading if you want to. So you keep all your pricing. And then it's also going to go through the artwork and swap out the first image in any of your artwork on that product for what you upload here. So it'll create all 20 of those products for you all at once with your pricing and everything like that already all set up. So that is how you would do that. All right. Not too many questions today. Hello. Anybody have anything else here before I let you go? Happy to answer anything else if you guys do have any other questions. Do the mockups created show all the artwork options or only the ones you selected when creating the product? So it's just going to be the ones that you created when you created the product. So, um, like we were saying before, on most of these, I was using brother, and then like on this one, I used moms. So I'm going to get mockups here. If I go to select mockups, you can see my custom mockup template was generated here from previous. If you guys haven't seen that live stream, make sure to go back and check that out. Um, that those can just be created for you automatically. So if you have your own mockups, those can be generated automatically without you having to create each one individually. So if I scroll down here, you can see on the V-neck, I have mom's listed on here, and on the other is the other design. So you can kind of pick and choose which design you want for each product that you add. You only have 10 slots in Etsy, right? So you're going to have at least one of those is going to be taken up with that infographic that shows the design with the numbers. Um, so it's going to kind of, so you're only going to then have another like 9 slots. So as you add different images or different products, you can change that default image so you have a different design to show on different of the mockups if you choose to. Let's see. Okay, awesome. That helps. I need to do bulk uploads because I'm burning so much time creating one by one. Yes, it does make it a lot faster. Even just using the kind of duplicate functionality right here can make product creation a lot faster, even if you're not doing the bulk upload. Um, but even still, even if you just have one design you want to do, you can still use the bulk upload because it's going to swap out that artwork for you automatically. It's going to keep all your titles and descriptions and everything the same. So it can really save a lot of time between that and the um, mock-up templates. I mean, even if you're not doing personalization, if you have 20 designs that you're going to create that you want to create 10 unique mockups for, all you need to do is set up the first one, set up your mockup templates, and then literally upload the other 19, and the system's going to take care of the rest for you. It's going to automatically create those 19 um, products. It's going to create your 10 mockups unique to you for each one, and it's huge, huge time saver. Not a question, but thank you for the video tutorials and always having great customer service. Very much appreciated. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We try to give the best level of service that we possibly can. So I appreciate that. That is great to hear. Alrighty. Looks like that is probably all of the questions for today. So if you guys do have any more questions ever, always feel free to reach out to us. You can hit the contact us link down here in the bottom right. That'll send a ticket straight into our customer support, and we're more than happy to help answer any questions that you guys might have. Alrighty, hope this was helpful to everybody, and we'll talk to everybody later. Alrighty, thanks a lot. Bye.